whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to tell you, about 10 minutes, we spent it on NASCAR. That's way too much.
It's actually 7, but all right, let's roll.
I consider
with it.
myself a moderate NASCAR fan, and that's way too much. But sadly, the reason is because it's the summer, and the summer blows.
Wow.
The summer blows for sports. We talked about this last week with your brother. You weren't here.
No,
But
I'm
let me
sorry,
tell
I
you, the
wasn't
summer
here.
blows.
No.
It's only baseball and
no,
NASCAR.
No, I'm not going to hear it.
There's nothing
No.
else good right
There's
now.
baseball. Baseball, like
I said
this
that.
country was built. Yeah, but you didn't give it enough. It was built on baseball. They built Yankee Stadium.
They signed
built
the Declaration
Fenway
of
Park.
Independence, and then they said, let's
Play
play
ball, basically. Yeah. I mean, yes. Baseball is the summer. The boys of summer. That's why they have baseball, because it takes up the entire
They're the boys
summer.
of summer because there is no other boys.
What,
The only other boys are sitting in cars going left. That's not really an athletic event.
Okay, but they have other things going on.
What?
Like there's horse racing, there's tennis, there's golf, there's all kinds of other sporting events. Baseball's just the most appealing to me and to a lot of Americans, I assume.
Yeah, everything you just named is so far below.
But they're there,
possible
right?
entertainment.
They're
Golf
happening.
is awful. That's not really even a sport. Those are barely athletes. Yeah, I'm sorry, but golf is a skill. Golf is a skill like bowling
Okay.
or billiards.
If
It's a
that's the way you
skill.
look at it.
It's impressive. I'm not taking anything away from people who can do it. Don't consider it an athletic event. That's not stuff that you want to watch. Tennis, I agree with. I like tennis.
Tennis,
but I understand
you
it's
know?
not for everyone. It's not
Right.
really a big major league sport, but it's okay. I can't stand watching an entire tennis match all the time necessarily, unless it's two real great folks. And you know, baseball's boring too, and NASCAR's boring. It seems like all the boring sports have settled in the summer, and they're like, people are busy. They're out in the sun. They're doing stuff. They're enjoying their lives. So let's put the boring sports at the summer, because people are busy doing other things anyway. That's why they don't have
about
new
that.
shows on the networks. The
No.
new shows start in the fall. They end. The
And
shows
what else?
end in the
And
spring.
what else starts
That's
in
why.
the fall? Football.
All the good
Hockey,
sports again. They start
basketball.
back up.
No, because the people that are running the TV stations with new shows don't put them out when baseball is on, because they know people are going to come home and watch baseball. That's
wow.
what they do.
So your argument against the fact that networks do not put on new shows during the summer is because people are too busy watching baseball to watch
Not
these shows?
just baseball. They're busy doing other stuff. But I'm telling you, anywhere you go, baseball is big.
No, not anywhere you go.
Yes.
You could roll up into Kansas City right now, and I'll tell you
Wait a minute. Wait.
that people probably don't even know who the Royals are playing today.
Well, maybe people in Kansas City, but I'll bet you there's 10 or 12,000 people that show up every night in Kansas City, know every guy in the lineup, and hope their team kicks the
10
hell
to
out of the
12,000
other
people, that's a lot of people. I don't know about that.
Well, no,
figure.
but you know, more than the Expos got, because they kept the team in Kansas City and not in Montreal. So that says something there.
Easy. You're touching a nerve.
And another thing,
You know what? That's a lot of people to watch baseball. I will make this argument until I'm blue in the
they
face.
just barely 2 years ago they did the World Baseball Classic, and they're like, let's make it like the Olympics. Let's do it every 4 years. And not only on top of the Olympics, we're going to have the World Baseball Classic and Major League Baseball, and they've got a Japan League. Tell me baseball's not big.
Okay, what were the ratings like for the World Baseball Classic?
I don't know. I don't
You
know.
may not have that exact note,
I
but
don't
it wasn't
have
a
that.
real blockbuster. So let me tell you that right there. Nobody
It
was
takes
watching
time
it.
to catch on,
Didn't
like
care.
anything. It'll catch on. It'll be big. It'll be like the Olympics. People will tune in and be like, my country could win the World Baseball Classic this year.
No, nobody even cares about that stuff. People barely care about the Olympics nowadays, which is sad. But they barely even care about the Olympics. Why are they going to care about something that's considered, and it should be, considered less than the Olympics?
Because it's baseball.
Oh, that's not a good argument.
It's baseball. People care. They're there somewhere. They're doing it.
To get
because
back
people
to
do
it, I'm
care.
sorry, but if 10,000 or 12,000 people show up for anything, that's a lot of people. That's over 2 Gutterson field houses packed full of people, and that's a
Yeah.
lot of people for a hockey game. So I don't care. When teams are bitching that they can't get it done with that many people coming in, you got to consider what you're putting on the field. Some teams are awful, and then they wonder why they only get only 9,000 people showed up today. 9,000 is a lot of people. That's a lot of folks.
Okay.
I know that may not pay your bills, but maybe it's time you lower your bills or put a better product on the field people want to watch. That's pretty simple.
So let me throw this out there. What about a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates, for example? They get close to, I think, 30,000 a game, and at the beginning of the year, they were anywhere from 4 games out to 8 games out, and now they're slowly slipping, and they're probably 13 and a half games out by
All right.
night's end.
Well, you know what? They have a pretty new stadium. a pretty good location
should
for their
draw
stadium.
fans,
It-
PNC
and it
Park,
does.
you know,
30,000 fans. Are you
30,000.
complaining about 30,000? Because I think that's a
Well,
pretty good
no,
number.
that's a great number, but why isn't the team getting better each year?
Well, they're a little better this year than they were last year, I think.
Well, we're
It's a
only
slow
halfway
process.
through the season. We'll still be
It's a
60
slow
out.
process. Like I've said a million times when it comes to baseball, it seems like you're going to have your same teams in the playoffs every year because they only accept 4. They accept each division winner and 1 wild card team. So basically, you only get the same teams every year, and it gets boring and it gets old. Every once in a while, there's a breakthrough team like the Tigers a while ago, the White Sox, one of these teams that comes up
Red
out of
Sox,
nowhere
the
and does
Marlins.
something.
There's-
No, but the Red Sox were always pretty consistently good. But the Marlins is a good
Good?
example. Yes. Well, no, they couldn't win the big one, but they always had a good record. They were always a potential playoff team. Now it's like we get the same teams all the time, and there's only like maybe 1 or 2 teams that break through. It makes it harder for people to really want to
Red
latch
Sox
on.
and Yankees?
It's harder for your team to make the playoffs in baseball.
Right.
And I'm not suggesting that they lengthen the season at all because 162 games is still like 80 games too many.
You're saying that it's easier to, for example, make the playoffs in football than it would be to make the playoffs in baseball the next year? You
Well,
think
first-
one guy on a
fir-
football team can change that?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in football they take 12 teams, and I'm saying in baseball they take 8. So that's just purely numbers, where it is easier to get back.
So you suggest expanding the baseball playoffs to more teams would make
More
a little
teams,
more
but less
excitement?
regular season games. 162 games is too many. It's too many. That's why nobody shows up to games. I bet you all these teams that drew like around 10,000 at a game, if they didn't have 82 games at home, 81 games at
81,
home during
yeah.
the regular season, people might make more of an effort to get out to them. You know why football games sell out all the time?
'Cause
They
there's
only
7.
get 8.
Yeah, 8.
If you want to include the preseason game, they get 10. They get 10 home games, and that's it. You got to get tickets to one of those games if you want to see them that year. In baseball, you can roll out of bed, hop down there, and grab a ticket anytime you want because half the time people aren't even caring. It's 81 home games. That's too many.
You want me to tell you something though?
Well, you're gonna.
It's still baseball, and people go whether there's 81 games or there's 62 games.
They do, but
or
they could
there's
sell out.
41 games.
They do, but they
go.
could sell out more games in more areas because obviously, psycho fans like the Red Sox fans are going to go no matter what they do, where they play. It
How
doesn't matter
bad they
what
win
stadium they're
or
in. They're
lose.
playing in the Kingdome in Seattle. They've got half the field. I mean, it's pretty crazy that how the Red Sox have a pretty huge following, and since they won a World Series recently, even the bandwagon people can stay on now.